find your passion, it ignites you as a person. You just feel awesome. Hello, my jiu-jitsu sisters, what is going on? So when I first started jiu-jitsu, I was a couple of months in. I was a barely one-stripe white belt. Went in for my first competition, and of course, you know, you go in and you have this expectation, right? You've seen all these fight movies.
The first rule of Fight Club is,
and after training, these people always win. So when I got into the competition, I was paired up against a blue belt with 3 stripes, I believe, that had multiple MMA fights. And guess what happened?
For her first match, so we got someone to do it, so go for it.
This is the game plan. Alright, so we're like here, and then I'm gonna go like that.
Yep.
Bring her over.
Big judo takedown.
And then I'm gonna go in side control, number 1, like this.
Yep.
And then after that, ear to side. And then
What's the key point about your first side control?
the key point is to keep my shoulder next to the hip. 5 seconds, yeah. I want to stay here for 5 seconds. All right, so have you ever seen those posters of like what your mom thinks you do versus what your friends think you do versus what you actually do? Well, this is a perfect example of what I thought I was going to do versus what actually happened. I'm editing this video right now. Ladies, for the love of God, do not tie your white belt around the smallest part of your waist. She is applying so much pressure that I cannot breathe. I've never experienced that much pressure in my life. It was a struggle just to get air, and I had no clue how to get out of this. And then she collar chokes me, and I'm trying not to cry at this point, and then forget to even shake her hand. All right, when you first start jiu-jitsu and you first start rolling, you are going to have that same experience, okay? Nothing that you learn in class is going to work on the mat. You're gonna forget everything that you learned in class the minute you start rolling. So today's video, I am going to teach you something that's going to be extremely useful, something that it took me a while to figure out, and something that like I wish somebody would have told me. Like if I had a big sister in jiu-jitsu, like that would have been that would have been great. Okay, so first of all, when you first start your roll, of course you're going to want to get the dominant position, like you are going to want to be on top of them, controlling them. But what is going to happen is you are going to be up against people that are more skilled than you, because this is going to be like your day 1 of rolling. And then once you get to like the couple months mark, and let's say you're going up against a male who's also a white belt, when you start to become to the level of like, let's say you're a 3-month white belt going up against a, you know, day 2 white belt. If it's a male and if they still have an ego about it, they are going to be fighting twice as hard, because they may not like the fact of like feeling dominated by a female, or that potential risk. So they aren't going to let you have anything. Like it's going to be like defending the belt and defending the manhood, okay? It's like sometimes you go up against, you know, people defending 2 things. So that's one thing that you need to keep in mind, is that you are going to be going up against strength. So when you go up against strength, what you really need to keep in mind during these classes is like, okay, what are the little details, and focus on being as technical as possible, because you will not be able to muscle through anything. The beginner white belt males, they have typically, they may be stronger than you, so definitely lift weights, because balance and strength and speed matter, as well as technical skill. okay? So they may be stronger than you, and they're going to use that muscle to feel like they win, but in actuality, they're not really doing jujitsu. They're just trying to muscle through stuff to feed their ego of not losing. But how you survive as a female white belt when you are the smallest on the mat is not viewing it as winning or losing. What you are actually doing is gaining your fight skill. When you first start rolling, what is going to happen is you are going to be spending a lot of time on the bottom. I spent a lot of time on the bottom of side control, okay? Like when I first started, like, yes, I was like consistently on the bottom of side control. If they were like rolling hard with me and not letting me work, I was always stuck there, okay? It is absolutely normal. You are not going to start off getting like submissions right off the bat. This is not like a Bruce Lee movie, like this is reality. And just because you're not getting submissions doesn't mean that you're not good at fighting or that you're not good at jujitsu or this isn't for you, or please do not feel frustrated by this, okay? When you are rolling and live training, you're actually training yourself to be able to fight, because this is what's going to happen. You are going to get on the bottom of side control. You are going to feel, this is how I felt anyways, okay? I'll describe my first rolling experience. I got on the bottom. I was basically pinned on the bottom of side control. This would happen like all the time when I rolled because, you know, I'm the smallest, weakest one on the mat, the least skilled. So what do you think is gonna happen? Like, that's what's going to happen. So I was stuck on the bottom of side control. I felt very panicked. I felt completely exhausted, even though I was in pretty good shape. I could not remember any technique, and it was like very hot and sweaty, and you know, not the best day. It's not the best feeling, okay? But here is the value of putting yourself in that position. When you are in a self-defense situation, your adrenaline is going to skyrocket, and then you're going to have what's called an adrenaline dump. When you compete, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel super, super energized, and all of a sudden they're going to call your name, and you're going to feel like you have zero energy. During my first fight, my BJJ match where we had strikes, I felt like I was underwater almost, meaning like my movements were slow and I couldn't get my body to speed up. Like that is an adrenaline dump. So if you are in a self-defense situation and your body isn't used to fighting, it's going to be harder to fight off somebody if you feel like everything's in slow motion. Okay, so like the similarities between what I felt during that competition, during that match, and what people feel that don't train in a self-defense situation is the same. So if you do train your body to be used to that high intensity environment, then you're better able to be prepared to fight off somebody. And most of the self-defense situations that you're going to come across as a female is not going to be to the intensity level of fighting with a woman that has MMA experience, okay? These guys are a high percentage, just knowing a little bit of fight is going to get you out of like a lot of situations, okay? So know that like the time that you spend on the bottom of side control is the time that you need to spend getting not comfortable there, but controlling how you feel and getting your shit together. Like if you can be on the bottom of side control and be calm and collected, then you've reached your goal. So I challenge you, the next time you roll, watch my rolling video about how to choose your partners when you're a beginner white belt. And then I believe that was like the first thing you see before. If you're not subscribed, it's the first thing you see when you come to my page. But watch my video how to choose your rolling partners, and then go on the mat, ask somebody to roll. You could even ask to start on the bottom, just so I used to do this so I could practice escaping from side control. And then when you're there, always keep on moving, always try to escape, but also monitor how you feel when you're doing it and try to calm yourself down through breathing. That way you can control your adrenaline dump, which will make you better prepared to handle a self-defense situation, or better prepared to, you know, do your first MMA fight or do your first competition, like whatever. This is literally training you to be a better fighter. Like, being a better fighter, like, as a beginner, equals being able to keep on moving when you're under duress, when you're under pressure, when you're in that intense rolling type of environment. The expectation that, you know, we all have is like, yeah, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna slap on some submissions, like it's gonna be great. Like, as a beginner white belt, like that's that's not gonna happen, especially if you're the smallest on the mat. Okay, like let's set like realistic expectations. That way it's like you feel good about yourself when you get off the mat, because you've set expectations that like are good for you. So one thing that I want to, this is like inside information, okay? Because if you've made it to like 9 minutes, like you're my sister, okay? Like, I'm gonna give you something that I figured out. Oh my God, it must have been like maybe like a year and a half that I realized what I was doing wrong, and I realized the disconnect between what I was learning in class versus what actually worked on the mat. So this is what would happen. I would start the roll, I would end up on the bottom of side control, and I would get into, you know, the side control safety position where you have like, you know, the frame, the hand on the hip, the far side knee up against their far side hip, and I would like wait and be like, okay, now let me remember the escape, and then try to work from there. And it was always completely exhausting to even try to get that frame across their neck to get an underhook, or to bridge to get a knee in. It was just, it always felt completely impossible, and it took so much energy, and it was just like, oh my God, like this seems so easy in class. This is what I did that changed everything, okay? When you are on the bottom or about to be on the bottom of side control, the time period in which you have the highest probability of escaping are those 2 seconds right when they're about to land on you and before they settle in. Okay, think of it like this is when it first starts to happen, and then your probability of escaping without using much energy goes down. The energy that you do need to use to escape exponentially rises the longer they are on top of you and the longer they get to settle in that position. Okay, so 2 things that I want you to remember. When you are about to be on the bottom of side control, okay, do not wait to be in that perfect frame position, because in my mind I'm like, okay, it needs to be exactly like what I learned in class. I need to be in this position first before I start escaping. No, start the escape before they settle. Start the escape as soon as like, oh my God, they're getting there. Let me start hipping out. Let me fight for the far side underhook. Like, do the first step of the escape before they even settle. Do not let them settle on you. If you let them settle on you, it's gonna be a fight. It is gonna be exhausting. The time period in which you have to escape is like right off the bat. If you're small, speed is your friend, okay? Cardio, keep on moving, never ever stop moving, okay? That's gonna help you in a real life fight situation as well. Never ever stop moving. If you can spend the entire 5 minutes of the round just hipping out, just do that, but do not lay there. Do not lay there, okay? Do not let them settle on you. Now I am, knock on wood, like, now I am rarely on the bottom of side control stuck there, because as soon as they are about to get on me, I move. you are not settling on me, especially those big boys, those big strong boys. Like, fuck that noise, okay? Like, that sucks. I'm not. It's the moves that you're accomplishing on the mat are not going to look exactly like what you see in class, okay? Those are like what it looks like, and then when it translates into live rolling, like, everything is much faster, okay? So don't wait for like the perfect, he's on top of me, you know, he's settled, okay, now let me start. No, even before, okay? So that's, yeah, that is my, like, if somebody would have told me that probably would have saved me like 10 hours of being on the bottom of side control, because girl, that sucks. But yeah, now that I've said that, because in my previous video, I said, like, I was talking about how it's really awesome for headbutting. If you go and watch that, I was talking about how, like, female headbutting, and today I got headbutted by a female. So I'm like, law of attraction is strong on me, because you know, you can't be mad at that. I was actually pretty happy. Anytime a female like submits me or like shows aggression, it is like, it's a beautiful thing. But all right, so yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Just remember, when somebody is about to get a position that is on top of you, and if you always feel stuck on the bottom, it's because you're spending too much time letting them settle. Start moving like before they settle, because once they get a grip on you, it is so hard to escape. It gets exponentially harder, and this is true for everybody. Like, I can hold the top side control on a lot of people who are bigger and stronger than me. So side control is real. It's called side control for a reason. And escapes are always better if they're done quickly and, you know, before they have time to get their shit together, you know what I'm saying? All right, so thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and subscribe. You know, we should be friends. And yeah, I just want to say that you're doing great, and I know it's very scary to get out there on the mats, but I encourage you to just try one round. You know, it is so scary, and I'm with you. Like, it is very scary, it is very intimidating, but any time that you spend fighting on the mat is time that you're spending training, and you know, before you know it, you're gonna be slapping on submissions, and that's a fact. Like, I do it. I don't mean to brag, but like I've been doing this for 5 years, and you know, stuff works. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I love you, and until next time.